Well, I got all the wiring done. When you're doing drywall, a lot of people don't do the wiring until after they're done with the drywall. And in a lot of ways, it's a lot easier that way. But if you have any problems with the wiring, then you've got the drywall all finished. And so I like to go ahead and install all my outlets, make sure everything's working real good, and then I just paint around them. Ain't no different than when you paint a new wall. Makes it a little harder when you mud, but I'd rather deal with that than have to rip out a wall that I had finished already. So, see what we got here. Got all the wiring done. Now I can screw down the panels. This is just a temporary light here. I'm gonna put some pot lights in here, but I wanted to make sure that was gonna work. Got our dedicated line here for our air condition and our heater, and all the other outlets are there. I put a temporary up here. There's gonna be a light up there, and I didn't have one, so I just put that up there just so I could test it. Over here will be the countertop with small under the counter fridge, and yeah, so we're all set. Now I can do all the screwing down in the drywall. Whoop-de-doo! We're in here still working on our little tiny house, but I wanted to do a little bit of a demonstration. Usually you have a cordless drill to put in the screws, and it works okay if that's all you have, you know. But you have to watch how you put them in. You got to make sure that you don't go too deep and all this stuff. But you're going to do a lot of attaching drywall. It might be worth it for you to pick up a little screw gun. And how these work, it's got a little dimple here, and this slides off here, and so you can adjust. And what that does is it moves this in and out so you can set the depth. And what it does is it automatically pushes off the screw so you don't have to worry about the depth. So you can turn it right here, and this screw isn't moving. The screw doesn't move until you actually push it in the wall, and it goes really fast. So you can really get it done in a really fast amount. And when you put in drywall screws, the goal is to put the screw in deep enough that when you run down the blade, when you're doing the mudding, it doesn't hit the screw. But you don't want to put it too deep that you would break the paper, because then it loses its strength. But what you do with this, you can set this so it'll be the same every time. And you can attach it really fast. Pretty much fast as you can put it up. Of course, I'm not as fast as people who do this every day. Those guys, never seen any of those guys do this kind of work. It's just unbelievable. But, you know, of course they do it every day. If you did it every day, you'd get good too. So that's the deal on these. You know, if you're going to do a large room, I would suggest that you get yourself one of these. I'll leave a link for it in the description. But if you don't want to deal with that, you can use your actual battery power drill. It does work, but you have to watch every time you put it in, so you don't put it in too deep. And this room here, I was able to do it with my wife. You know, we're old people, and hanging drywall is not always easy. This is lightweight drywall, but it's still almost 44 pounds, I think it is. But it's not that it's so heavy, it's just awkward. And once you make out a cut in it, it gets kind of flimsy. And one thing that really helped us here is we didn't have a ceiling to do. That really cut back. We decided to just leave that as it is. Maybe in the future we'll put a drop ceiling in. But we don't really want to lose a lot of room. So we'll see what it looks like when we're done. And you know, maybe we'll paint it up. Maybe we'll leave it kind of like a rustic look. This room was at 10.5 feet tall, so there was not really any way we could do it without having the extra sheets. We thought about doing them upright like this, but I'd have to buy 12-foot sheets, and I couldn't get those in my car. And handling and dealing and maneuvering 12-foot sheets is not easy for two old people. So we went ahead and went with the 8-foot sheets. And what we did to make it easier is we put the full sheet at the top. Whenever you're hanging drywall, you want to try to plan how you're going to have your joints. And I didn't want to be working on the top of a 8-foot ladder trying to get the joints and put the tape in on the joints and stuff. So what we did is we put the first full sheet up, and we put a 2x4 here almost to the exact height, and then we could just put it up there and set it up. Usually when you do drywall, you do it the opposite way. You start from the bottom, and but because this was extra high, I decided to do it that way, and it worked just as well. What you can do is you can set it on the board, take a little pry bar, and you can pry it up to get it where you want it. And because the roof is not exactly the same, so you need to press it up there. And so what this has done is it put my seam here down close to the ground. So now I can work on that seam and not have to be up on a ladder. I do have to work on this seam here, but it's almost where I can reach it without a ladder. So that works good too. So, and we used an oscillating saw or something. It's got this little teeth here. It just moves back and forth really fast, and it enables you to cut out the outlet boxes and make any adjustments that you need, and it's really a lifesaver. And so in the first few boxes I cut out the old-fashioned way with the keyhole drywall saw, but after I remembered I had this, I went down and get it. I'll try to leave a link for that in the description as well. Also, when you're doing these lines where the two panels join, you have to put a slight angle on it, just a slight angle, because sometimes the drywall doesn't end exactly in the middle, and then if you put it in, you'll miss it. And I always wait till the end to do these, because it's weak on the ends. Once you get the other panel, it holds everything in place, and that'll cause this edge not to break as much. These are things that I've learned over the years. I'm not a professional drywall installer by any means, but as an average do-it-yourselfer who's probably put up, probably 500-600 sheets of drywall over the course of my life, these are some tricks I've learned. And so I always leave these until the end because it just makes it nicer. Also, always wear gloves. I see people online and I just wince when I see them putting them in without no gloves on and putting the screws in their mouth. During the manufacturing process, there's little dinky pieces of metal in there. And if you don't wear gloves, all the little pieces of metal will end up in your finger. You stick them in your mouth, they'll end up in your lip. So always wear gloves and don't never put them in your mouth. Alrighty. So I'll get going here. Let's start screwing the rest of this down so I can get ready to do some taping. Make sure you watch the whole series. Thanks for watching.